Hi everyone. So today I am addressing the topic of the fear of gaining weight and how to gain weight while practicing Ashtanga Yoga and recovering. I have been trying to answer all of your questions that I've been receiving through email via video so that it can serve all of you. So please continue to reply to these videos with questions that you have. This will be the best way that I can help you and all the other women and men out there that are suffering from this. So if I don't reply to you directly, please don't take it personally. I'm getting a lot of emails and there's only so much time that I can spend individually replying, and a lot of the questions are kind of the same, which is great because it means that the healing process is one, and the main idea of it, which leads me to today's topic, is that you all already have the answers. What we need to work through together is gathering the courage and the bravery to go for it, right? Okay, the topic of today. I feel scared to gain weight, and how do I deal with gaining weight while continuing to practice Ashtanga Yoga? Well, in the other video I mentioned the importance of taking rest days, taking days off. Today I'm going to address the idea of, or the topic of putting in what you put out, right? So whenever we're practicing Ashtanga, we're generating energy, but we're also putting out physical energy. We're burning calories, we're burning fat, we're burning protein, and if the body is not replenished, the practice will be detrimental to the physical body. So it is highly important that we keep in mind the concepts of ahimsa, right? So Ashtanga Yoga is the yoga of 8 limbs. Yamas, niyamas, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana. The yamas, the first yama, which is these moral rules or moral conducts that we use in the relationship to others, but I always like to look at them as in the relationship to ourselves. So if we're coming to the mat and we're practicing and we're exerting energy, and then we leave the mat and we don't refuel ourselves, we don't nourish ourselves, then we're practicing himsa, which is violence to ourselves, right? So if you are practicing yoga, you are making a commitment to yourself that you're going to practice ahimsa, which is non-violence, right? So you have to be very fair and honest with yourself about what you're doing. And you and only you can make a contract with yourself about, if I practice yoga, I am practicing being non-violent with myself and learning to nourish myself. So after practice, your practice becomes, how can I nourish myself in a way that will support me coming and showing up again tomorrow and continuing to grow in a transformative, positive way. So my invitation to you is, after practice, drink water, and then go to the market, go to the supermarket, go wherever you go to get your food, and pick out foods that are that you really feel in your stomach are what you need. So let the brain stay out of it and show up asking yourself, what do I really need today? What do I really want today? And purchase that, whatever it may be, right? And it may be an orange, it may be an avocado, it may be some cashews, whatever it is, it doesn't matter for the first day. Just buy something that you really want and gift yourself the ability to eat it. Gift yourself the ability to choose anything, whatever that may be. You might start with a coconut water, but the whole point is that you're training your body to, you're training yourself to listen to your body, to listen to your intuition, to listen to your real self. And the more you can begin to do that, the more you can refine that over time. And as you begin to heal, you'll begin to feel like you need a little more than you needed the day before, right? A little something more nourishing. And become curious about what the foods that you like, what they contain, what they give your body. Become an expert about the foods that you like to eat, so that you're not scared of them, but you can When you're taking them in, you're assimilating them and you're digesting them because you know what they're doing to your body, right? Foods have all kinds of wonderful healing properties, and we're so stuck in just thinking that food is equals fat. So you want to break that. Okay, that's the first thing. But how to deal with the consequence of that, of committing to nourish yourself? Well, like I talked about in the other video and all the other videos that I've created, you're just gonna have to sit with it. There is no magic way out of it. The only way through it is to sit with it, to observe this fear, identify it as a fear. Fear is not a state of being. It is a mental formation that is passing and that you are choosing to momentarily identify with. So the more you can use your yoga practice, which means your breathing practice, to see that you are not that which is happening to you, the more you will be able to use the practice to heal, right? So in Ashtanga Yoga, we use asana as a vessel to find ourselves, to encounter ourselves, to be face to face with ourselves. So we are, let's say, a triangle for 5 breaths, and then we're no longer a triangle after 5 breaths, and we don't suffer from not being a triangle anymore, from being an extended angle, or being a frog, or being a camel, or being a dog. Like we're taking all these absurd forms, and we're not suffering from not being that anymore after we're done with it. So we're learning to not attach ourselves to what we temporarily are, and to understand that we are not this. We are not the mental formations that we are experiencing. We're beyond that. And so the more you can cultivate this awareness on the mat, the more you can begin to create a little bit of space between what you are experiencing in your mind and the content of your mind and what you are beyond that. And so whenever you can begin to see that in your practice, you can begin to really call yourself out, right? So whenever your mind begins to see, oh my God, I've gained like 2 pounds, you can choose to go down the road of like freaking out and like all those negative thoughts that come up with that. Or you can choose to stop and go the other way and be like, great, I'm not going to give it any thought. Am I happy? Do I feel good? Yes. Okay, great, done. I'm going to go out and take a walk. So that's the process of yoga off of the mat. And that's how you're going to use the yoga to heal. And also, let's not forget that Ashtanga Yoga is a breathing practice, right? So we're learning to use the breath while doing very complex postures. And the whole idea is that no matter how complex something is, we are reminded that we are not mastering that posture until we can breathe evenly and steadily for an extended amount of time in that posture. So we're continuously being thrown into the fire of difficult situations purposefully so that we can learn to be with our breath and be present in different situations in our life where we're being thrown off of our feet and we're being challenged, we're being bound to situations that are taking us away from a state of happiness into a state of unhappiness. And so let's really use that practice that we're getting on the mat to acknowledge when these situations are happening in our life and choosing to see that we are not that we are in that state of emotion for however many breaths we choose to bind our attention to that. And we can choose at any point to unbind ourselves from that and realize that we are beyond that, right? So just like you can bind Maritasana D and you can be in that for 5 breaths, you can at any point unbind yourself and turn into a vinyasa and let it be in the past and be in the present moment, be in Navasana. And in Navasana, you feel the struggle of your legs shaking and your abdomen burning and you want to come down and but you stay because you have 5 breaths there, and then all of a sudden you're out of it, right? And so it's recognizing that we're putting ourselves in a state of struggle, in a state of stress, so that we can learn how to react with awareness and with presence in a state of stress in our life. So the fear of gaining weight is a state of stress that the mind is imposing on our nervous system, on the rest of our system, right? And so we can choose to stop, breathe, drop down into the belly, because when we're stuck in fear or in an emotion, the breath will tend to be very short. So drop the breath down into your abdomen. Become aware of your limbs. Become aware of your feet on the ground. Become aware of everything that is around you. Step outside of your mind, right? Don't belittle and enclose yourself in the smallness of that fear-based mind. See the beauty and the greatness and the vastness of the context that you live in, and choose to breathe into that. Choose to permeate into that. Become one with it versus separating yourself with it, right? That's what breathing does. It permeates, makes us become part of whatever surrounds us, right? It's controlling that flow of life, right? And so if you're shortening your breath and you're stuck in this fear mind, you're giving yourself very small amount of prana, of life force. So breathe, right? Choose to let that pass, and it'll keep coming back, and you keep trying to send it away, and you keep coming back, and you keep trying to send it away. And so you play with that for a while, write it down, acknowledge it, talk about it with somebody, and continue to remind yourself that it's passing, that it's there to trick you into it, and that the reason why you continue to fear is because you continue to not be brave enough to let it pass, and to know that it's not really there. You're creating it, right? No one cares. No one cares if you're 2 pounds lighter or 2 pounds heavier. No one does. So it's really up to you to be courageous and to want to really badly be happy, right? And that is not attached to a number. That is not attached to a number of meals that you can eat. I know people that are really skinny and they're eating all the time and they're just happy. And I know people that are very big and they're eating all the time, or they're not eating and their system is holding on to what they're eating, but they're still bigger and they're not happy. So it's not about the body shape. It's not about the number of things you eat. It's really about being present and being aware of what you're holding on to and choosing when to let it go. And then in terms of, I think I've addressed it, but in terms of how to practice in a way that will help the weight gain, well, again, practice with an intention of healing. Practice with an intention of respecting your body's needs. So if you come to the mat and your body's tired, that day you might do your practice differently. So just because the practice is the same, it doesn't mean that you have to do it the same way every day. It gives you this great opportunity to come and see yourself. So if you do Surya Namaskar and you notice that something is a little different inside you, pause and ask yourself, like, what do I need today? Do I need to do my full practice, or do I just need to do some sun salutations and sit and read? That's practice, right? So Ashtanga Yoga is not the sequence. Ashtanga Yoga is 8 limbs, and it's breathing with asana. So in that, there is so much space for what you can do, right? Seated postures are wonderful postures for digestive aiding. So it helps you to ignite your digestive fire, and you should feel hungry after practice, and you should follow through and be brave enough to eat after practice, right? So my suggestion in terms of how to use the practice to gain weight is be realistic with yourself. If you're not feeding yourself, you should not be doing a full practice. You should be coming in and maybe doing some Surya Namaskar with stepping, focusing on a deep breath, maybe doing some seated, and resting. And until you can commit to nourishing yourself, that's what you should be doing. And to me, the great thing of the Ashtanga practice was that because I was exerting so much physical energy into it, the need to feed myself, the hunger grew greater and greater until I couldn't ignore it anymore. And so I began to eat. And because the natural, if you're practicing correctly with breath and drishti, the natural evolution of the practice is that you your mind is not so focused anymore on thinking about how to deprive yourself. It's thinking about other things. It's occupied being present. And so all of a sudden the heaviness that's on the importance of meals when you're anorexic is not there anymore, right? And so it's a natural evolution, but you have to be willing to be courageous and to not make the Ashtanga practice one thing, but to make it about listening to your body and being present and being very honest with yourself. So this is what I have for you today. Again, I'd like to remind you that you can always email me at info@bblorenzetti.com. Please sign up to my website to receive my newsletters and my updates. And if you're signing up and you're interested in the anorexic piece, please send me a note to let me know so I have a specific newsletter line for that. So every time I make a video, I'll be sending it out. And join me on one of my retreats. It's a great way to spend time with me and to really see how I teach this practice as a way to heal. And I would love to be able to spend a week with you and share, my own journey with you, and to be able to support you in person. There's so much value in that, and I've seen how it's really affected people. And I'm not saying I'm going to heal you, but I think it's very important that we have a face-to-face interaction and that we can support each other. And I would just love to meet you. Thank you for being here. Thank yourselves for being here. This is the beginning of your healing journey, and I hope this helps you and continues to support you. Namaste.